Yo, 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 what's up, Miami Heat fans? Welcome to the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff, where we are live on day 2 of NBA free agency after the first night went and came and the Heat made no moves. Day 2 projects to be a little bit more juicy for Miami. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have an update on Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier. Could the Heat go out and actually get Damian Lillard after he was waived by the Milwaukee Bucks today following the big-time addition of Myles Turner? There's a lot surrounding this basketball team. As always, we're here to cover it and talk about it. So welcome in. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here. We'll start today with this, and I'll ask the people where they're watching from. Shout out your city for me down in the comments section. Where are the legends watching from? I've been doing a lot of tweeting today. I tweeted about Damian Lillard, tweeting about Duncan Robinson, and I saw about 4 or 5 people in the comment section going, go live, go live, go live. And the plan was to go live on Dolphins Today by Chat Sports because they traded for Darren Waller this morning, and I was going to do a live show reaction to that after breaking down some other stuff with Jalen Ramsey. But you know what? I've got a little bit of a buzz and a feeling that Duncan Robinson is going to be signing with the Pistons, which will ultimately line up a sign-and trade for Miami. And I was like, you know what? Let's go live. Let's talk about Dame. Let's talk about Duncan. Be here just in case something happens. So I pivoted from Dolphins Today to the Heat Report live show. So hopefully y'all can appreciate that. Shout out Tamia in Miami, Sebastian in Miami, Eyeball in Tampa, Raphael in Columbus, Vincent in Miami Shores, Tyler is in Miami, Carolina, Ken is in Charlotte, North Carolina, Javier's in the 305, Tyson's in Lawrenceville, Georgia, Edwin's in Orlando, Yolan is in Springfield, Missouri. Shout out to everybody tuning in and hanging in. We got Shan in Gainesville, Too Tall in Michigan. Got a lot of the legends here. 145 people tuning in here early on this live stream. Viper in the building. YNCF says Boston, Massachusetts behind enemy lines. Well, YNC, fun fact about me, I am actually going to be in Boston, Massachusetts next weekend. Not this upcoming July 4th weekend. Me and my girlfriend are heading to Boston the 11th, and we'll be there for that weekend. Looking forward to that little vacation. But shout out to everybody tuning in here. Vipers from Lockport, New York. Quads in North Carolina. All right, let's start here. The news of the day in the NBA world. It's the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks waived Damian Lillard. So they signed Myles Turner to a shocking 4 for what? 104 deal, Dylan? Was it something more? If we want to get that information up here, that would be helpful. So that's where everything started today. And also, if you wanted to update this weigh-in real quick to, I don't know, this might have been on me, S for sign. Either way, Myles Turner was expected for him to go to the Pacers and re-sign a big deal there. But he ultimately ends up signing a massive contract with the Bucks, 4 years, 107. So comes at 22 point. I'm terrible at math. 22 would have got him 108. So $1 million less. 22.25? Yeah. $22.25 million for the Bucks. And so he signs with Milwaukee, and everyone's like, well, how are they doing this? Because they don't have the cap space for it. So it's like, are you going to be doing a sign-and trade? It's like, oh, maybe Kuzma goes back to Indiana. Or maybe Pat Connaughton and something else, which they ended up trading Pat Connaughton anyway today to the Hornets. But no, they ended up waiving Damian Lillard and waiving and stretching his contract over the next 5 years where they have a dead cap of about $23 million so they can have Myles Turner. Shocking move, but Dame now becomes an unrestricted free agent and anybody can sign him. So the Heat would not have to trade to get Damian Lillard. There is a realistic outcome where the Miami Heat signed Damian Lillard. I don't know what the contract would be, but I think it would be better served for Miami to obviously sign him to a multi-year deal, let him rehab from his torn Achilles. He's likely going to miss this entire year, but what if you sign him to a 3-year deal where it's not that expensive? Like maybe it's a 3 for like 21. Like I know it's crazy. Like it's hard to like fathom what the contract could be, but you could give him a multi-year deal, and then you get him rehabbing in your building and then ready to go in 2026. And you take a gap year this year if you're Miami, and then you have Bam and Dame next season, not this year, the year after. Like, could be just an unbelievable possibility. So let me know. I see most people say sign, a couple say pass. I say sign. I originally said pass, but I want to sign now because, like, here's my thing. It's like you get Dame, you let him rehab. You have then a point guard rotation, a guard group of Hero, Dame, Kasper Siakachonis, Davion Mitchell. You could have Dame mentor Kasper Siakachonis, and then when Dame is done with his contract in Miami, Yak takes over, and you just have Yak, Hero, and Davion Mitchell hold it down in the meantime. Like, I don't know why not. There's also reports out there from Chris Haynes, from Barry Jackson, Anthony Chiang, that the Heat are expected to show interest and pursue Damian Lillard. The report is by Anthony Chiang of the Herald. The Heat is expected to have interest in Damian Lillard, and Lillard continues to have interest playing in Miami, according to multiple league sources. So this is a topic that will not be going away. That is for sure. That is for sure. This is a topic not going away. We will be talking about this until Damian Lillard ultimately sides somewhere else. But there's also another player we'll talk about, which is Duncan Robinson. But first, we got to get the like number up, folks. We have over 200 people watching, and we only have 26 likes. That can't be the case. Come on, folks. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 100 likes. I think we should be at 50% likes. I really do. We had over 220 people watching. We should be at 100 likes. When we get to 100 likes, I'll take a shot of vodka. I got the vodka back in the building today. So we get to 100 likes. I'm doing a shot. We're at 52. There we go. That's much more like it. Under 50 away. Hit that thumbs up icon. Come on, folks. We'll be live for 2 hours and change today. The plan is to sign off around 5:15, unless something happens. If something happens, we'll stay live. But if nothing happens, we'll be here until about 5 Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll be about a 2-hour live. So I'm sorry for confusing people that are on the East Coast. But we're on Central Time, so I usually think about there. But it does look like Duncan Robinson is ultimately going to be not on this team. We'll talk about that more in a second. We're 26 likes away from 100, folks. Let's go. We're right there. We're right there, man. We're right there. Hit that thumbs up icon. You want Trey Mann? I'm good on Trey Mann. I don't think Trey Mann is going to help us. Don't think so. Don't think Trey Mann is that type of dude. 20 likes away. $20 likes away. 15 likes away. Come on. We're right there. $14 likes. We're not moving on until we get to 100 likes, folks. We're 11 away. 11 away. We'll get to Drew Smith too, but we got to get to 100 likes. I'm telling you. Got to get to 100 before we move on. Four likes away. Once we get to 100, we'll move on. I'm a stickler today. I don't know what to tell you. There we go. We got to 100 likes. All right, let's talk about Duncan. Will Duncan Robinson be traded? Y for yes, N for no. The Heat reporters have changed their opinion. They have gone from Duncan is probably still going to return on a slightly smaller deal, but now everyone says he'd be traded. Shout out to the 100 likes. but most people saying yes. Tyson, Tommy, and Mark, Anthony, Hoop Central. Tyson saying no, actually. Then changed his opinion to yes. Sebastian, yes. Mobby, yes. Hoop Central, yes. It feels like that's going to be the case. So I don't know how much money they have available via salary cap in Detroit following the Caris LeVert signing. Let me see here. Let me see if they have. So they re-signed Paul Reed. They brought in LeVert. Which puts them at. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so it still says they have $40 million in first apron space. So they have cap space. Do they even need to do a sign and trade? I'm not sure. They're over the cap by $54 million. But I'm trying to figure out their cap space, and I just can't do it. But the sign and trade could feature picks, could feature Simone Fontecchio. That's the player that I'm eyeing in terms of a potential trade. But we'll get back to Duncan Robinson. We got to get our first super chat of the day on the building. And Jay, shout out to Jay. This is a golden opportunity to get Dame at a cheap price. He's going to do whatever to rehab and come back strong. He would draw GD. What do you think that means? That's what I was thinking. Good. I don't know. I'm in. Jay, I'm in as well, my friend. I think that this is a move that I think Miami should make. My first reaction to the people wanting Dame, I was like, I don't think I'm in. Because I've been wanting the Heat to pick a direction and go with a youth movement for a while. But then I can't really say that and then go, okay, let's get a 35-year-old point guard in Damian Lillard coming off of a torn Achilles that's not going to play this year. But now I'm in for a couple reasons on Dame. I don't think it's going to be expensive. I think it's going to be cheap. If you get him for a 3-year deal or even a 2-year deal, you let him rehab this year, get him acclimated to Miami, somewhere we know that he is very open to play, and then he comes back in 26, 27 as a leader, a veteran, a good point guard to ruck in the pick and roll with Bam and Khalil Ware, but also be a mentor for Kasparas Yakachonis to where you could use Damian Lillard as your starting point guard next year. Not this upcoming year, the year after, assuming you sign him to a multi-year deal, and have Yakachonis be a sixth man. So maybe you do start Davion Mitchell this year alongside Hero. You bring Yak off the bench. Damian Lillard is that veteran in the building, rehabbing, mentoring Yakachonis. And then next year, Dame is the starting point guard with Yakachonis being the sixth man, Davion Mitchell coming off the bench. And then after Damian Lillard's 2 years in Miami, if he doesn't work out, it doesn't kill you because it's a cheap contract. And then you just move on from Dame, and Yakachonis is your starting point guard with a couple years left on his rookie deal still. So that's kind of the ideal outcome for me. And if you do end up signing Damian Lillard, there's another aspect here. Ready? You take a gap year where you know you're not going to be good. So what happens is that you let some of these expirings play out. You move off Andrew Wiggins for expiring contracts. Then you create this cap space. Dame rehabs this year. You stink, right? You're bad. You have a top 10 pick. So you have a lottery pick inside the top 10. You free up about $40 million in cap space with a Wiggins expiring, maybe even a Terry Rozier expiring. You have a top 10 pick. You add Damian Lillard, who is just rehabbing on your bench, and then you have all that cap space to get role players alongside that 10th overall pick. To me, that is a good way to be bad this year, Play the young guys. Let Ware develop. Let Jovic develop. Let Yakachonis get some run. And then they're more ready to help you compete as role players for Dame, Hero, Bam potentially when Dame is here in 26-27. But you also are adding a top 10 pick. You're also adding good role players in free agency with $40 million in cap space. So to me, doing this move for Dame isn't helping you this year. Like, that's not the point. He's not going to be here this season. But it could really help you compete in 26-27 and 27-28. I'm serious. That feels like a good move in my opinion. This is a good point to bring up this question from Russell, the Australian. How long is Dame out for next season? So he tore his Achilles in May. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes 8 months. So there's a chance that Dame comes back in March of April of next year. There's a chance that he could be back in March of April. So God forbid that he'd actually get a step up from Ware, from Jovic. Yakachonis is much better as a rookie than anticipated. And you're actually in the playoffs next season. Well, then Dame could be coming back for a playoff run as someone off the bench. He wouldn't start in that role because he hasn't played all year long. But he could be a really good point guard coming off the bench. And then he starts the following year. So there's a chance Dame ends up playing at the end of next year. He could be out all of next season. But he'd be able to rehab and be in your building all year for the next season to be ready. So that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. So that's the latest on Dame. And we know the Heat are going to show interest. So let's move back to Duncan Robinson here and the latest around him. So the latest report is that the Detroit Pistons are heavily pursuing Duncan Robinson and could ultimately do a sign and trade with the Heat. The report is that there has been ongoing conversations with Detroit and other teams that would give the Heat an asset in return for Duncan, per source. Could be a draft pick or something else to be determined. But Anthony Chiang, Barry Jackson, and 5 Reasons Sports Network all reported that it's likely that Duncan Robinson ultimately leaves the Heat in this free agency. He exercised his ETO to become an unrestricted free agent on Monday, which got Miami underneath the luxury tax. By the way, I've been saying that the Heat have been $12 million underneath the luxury tax. It's actually $14 million, and they still have a roster spot open. The reason why it's 14 and not 12 is because originally they were counting Tyler Hero's unlikely to be earned incentives. They don't count towards the tax, only the first and second aprons. So as long as Miami is underneath the luxury tax, which they are right now, those $2 million in incentives do not count. So Miami has the full $14 million underneath the luxury tax, which means they could use the full mid-level exception and still be underneath the luxury tax, which was a massive thing for the Heat. Now, I don't know if there's many good free agents out there that you can end up signing to stay underneath the luxury tax. And if we want to look at some of the top free agents available, I don't really know who's available to get and would be willing to give them $14 million per season. I would have been willing to do it for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's not the case. NAW is off the board. Some of the top free agents available as of now, Jonathan Kuminga, Josh Giddey, DeAndre Ayton, Quentin Grimes, Cam Thomas. I don't really see any of those people available and making sense for Miami. Outside of Damian Lillard on this next list, I don't really see any of these guys making sense either. And I don't think I would be giving any of these guys the mid-level anyway. I really don't. Like, I'm not getting Al Horford at the mid-level. I'm not giving that to who's the center out back there? If we go back to that list, who was that? Mo Wagner. Not giving him the mid-level. I'm not giving any of these guys the mid-level either. And then the final 5. I don't think I'm giving any of them. Now, I will say Amir Coffey is a player that intrigues me. I've been very much in on Amir Coffey. Amir Coffey's a fascinating player. He averaged 9.7 points a game last year. He's 28. He's 6'7", so he's got good positional size. Shot 41% from 3 last year. Is a solid 2-3 type of hybrid. And he was solid for them last season, man. Amir Coffey's a fascinating player I would be interested in. Now, am I giving him the full mid-level? I don't think I'm giving him $14 million, But I would give Amir Coffey a 2-year, $18 million contract. I would do that. You have Duncan Robinson leave, Amir Coffey come in. He's a better defender. He's not as good as a shooter, obviously, but he can hit a shot off the catch. I like Amir Coffey a lot. He would probably be my number one free agent target outside of Damian Lillard at this point. And we know Miami does still need a center to back up Kel'el Ware. We'll see what moves Miami makes to free up roster spots. I don't know what centers are available. Let me take a quick gander here. Let me look at the free agent centers, because then maybe that's where we use the cap space or the mid-level exception we have available. Let's take a look. Mo Wagner, Al Horford. Okay, there's really none out there, guys. That's it. Al Horford ain't signing here. I ain't signing Tristan Thompson. I ain't signing DeAndre Jordan. I ain't signing Thomas Bryant. So the only one I'd consider giving a contract to is Mo Wagner, but he's coming off an ACL injury. Jay with another 5. Appreciate you. I meant Dame would draw good talent. It's time to let Love go. We don't need another Haslam situation. We need to fill spaces with active rosters. I completely agree. Let me check to see Kevin Love's contract. I'm pretty sure it's fully guaranteed. So I don't think there's a world where they can get off of him. And no one's going to trade for him. Let me see how much is guaranteed. I think it's fully guaranteed. Let me just make sure, though. Yeah, it's fully guaranteed. So there's you can't buy out Kevin Love because he's just going to be, it's going to still cost you the same amount of money. So I guess you could buy him out and free up a roster spot, and you still have the $14 million because he's obviously on the books now. So maybe you could buy out Kevin Love because you still have the same thing. Could be in on that. Could be in on that. Oh, man. I'd like to see the Heat free up a roster spot. I would. Appreciate you, Jay. Let's get a Let's Go Heat chant going, and let's showcase our Super Chat menu. Let's go Heat! Let's go Heat! Let's go Heat! Shout out to the Heat fans hanging out here. Super Chat menu today, as we've seen a couple 5s come in. Let's go Heat chant. We're going to run back the $20 shots here today. Got the vodka. And then we'll also run back the $50 beer bongs. We had a good stream yesterday. Let's keep it going again with a good stream today. Just tweeted out, I wonder if the Heat would consider waiving Kevin Love to free up a roster spot. And for the 355 people watching, if you have not followed me on Twitter already, you're making a mistake there. I'm tweeting about the Heat every day, and when the Heat make moves and are connected in rumors, I'll have you covered over there first before making a video or going live on the channel. So if you want the top Heat coverage on YouTube, subscribe here and follow me on Twitter. Be great, appreciate it. I'll give shout-outs to anyone who gives me a follow. I'll also say this. We're 362 people away, or 360 people watching. I am 18 followers away from 2,000 on Twitter. If we get to 2,000 followers on Twitter today, I'll do a beer bong to celebrate 2,000. I'll do a beer bong to celebrate 2K ski. So follow me over on Twitter for the top Heat coverage, reactions, news, rumors. But also, if you want to see a beer bong, I also give shout outs to anyone who follows me today. So we'll see. See if anyone gives me a good old follow. It would be greatly appreciated. 73% of the live chat says, yes, I would sign Damian Lillard. Okay. Interesting there. Barry Jackson tweeting about the Dolphins. Me and Barry Jackson are one and the same the past couple of days here. We've been talking Dolphins and Heat bouncing back and forth. It's very difficult to do. It's very difficult to do. No updates on Duncan as of now. We'll see if anything comes to fruition as we've been live here for about 20 minutes and change. Shout out to All Things Essendon with the follow. Appreciate you. There's one down. 17 to go. I'll say this, folks. If you want to get your thoughts or ask a question about the Heat and you want to see it on screen, Super Chats will guarantee you a spot on the show. We'll flash your Super Chat and we'll talk about it. We will also, you know what, I'll say this. If you guys want to ask questions about Miami while we wait to see if anything ends up happening, remember, Super Chat will guarantee your spot. If you type something in the live chat, include in your comment #Heat, and we'll be able to pull that comment on our show and answer some questions potentially. So Super Chat guarantees you a spot. #Heat can get you on there. #Heat could. Super Chat guarantees. As we talk everything Damian Lillard, talk everything Duncan Robinson, and wait to see if anything ends up happening with those two. I don't think Dame is happening today by any stretch. I think he's going to take some time to mull it over, decide if he wants to do a multi-year deal, rehab with one team, or just rehab on his own and then sign in free agency next year or in the buyout market potentially after he feels how he's good. But yeah, #Heat or Super Chat will get you on the show potentially today as we answer questions, hang out, and wait to see if anything happens. Remember, we're going to stay live till about 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. If something happens in between now and then, we'll have you covered. If not, well, that's that too. That's that too. Oh, I feel like I'm constantly just refreshing Twitter to see if anything happened. The morning today was absolutely hot. I mean, you had a bunch of moves going down today. Jurgon Yavaseli to the Knicks. Myles Turner to the Bucks. Damian Lillard waived. SGA extension. Jakob Poeltl extension. A lot of moves this morning, but the afternoon has quieted down quite a bit. Quite a bit. Do appreciate the 350 people tuning in. All right, so let's answer some questions here. Remember, Super Chat guarantees you a spot on. You have a chance. You're at the discretion of good old Mr. Producer Dylan if you use #Heat. Elias will get the first one of the day. Will Damon Hero work defensively? No, it would not. And here is my hot take. If the Heat signed Dame to a multi-year deal and felt good about him returning after his rehab, and you felt good about him being here for multiple years, I think there is a chance that if Tyler Hero had another all-star caliber season this year, the Heat could actually trade Hero next offseason before his final contract and don't have to extend him, trade him for first-round draft capital, and maybe build a better team around Dame and Bam. Now, I feel like that's a little bit backward thinking, but I'll be honest, is there a world where 35-year-old Dame coming off of an Achilles injury gives the Heat a better chance to win a title than Tyler Hero? think there's a world where that's the case. Damian Lillard is one of the best playoff risers we've ever seen. Tyler Hero is the playoff doom. Tyler Hero's been terrible his entire playoff career. I think there's a chance. I really do. I really do. Lillard's injury prone. So is Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's had 1 year where he's played more than 70 games. It was this year. Did a great job this year. But he's been injury prone his entire career. Both are injury prone. Both are bad defensively. But one is good in the playoffs and one's not. Now, I get it. One's also 10 years older than the other. But we all kind of agree that Tyler Hero is not a $50 million player, right? Like, I firmly believe that. I don't want to pay Tyler Hero $50 million per season. So if I had the choice between Dame and Bam, and then you use other assets to build a better team around those two for a couple of years, and Dame's playing on a contract that's like $10 million per season, or build a team around Hero and Bam, where Hero and Bam are both getting 50+ mil, I'm sorry, I'm choosing Dame and Bam for 2 years with Dame being cheaper. I ain't paying Hero. I don't want to pay Hero $50 million. Paying Tyler Hero $50 million for 4 seasons is the ultimate we're never winning anything move. It's a doom. I'm sorry, it is. Tyler Hero is a third player on a championship team. That's a fine thing to be. You can be a third best player in an all-star. But the third best player on a championship team should be getting around 30, 35 mil, not 50. If we extended Hero on a deal where he gets paid 30, 35 a mil, I'd be happy. I'd be ecstatic. Heck, even if you said 40, I'd be fine with it. The OG Anunoby contract, the Brandon Ingram contract. What those two got paid, that's where Hero should be. 40, between 37 and 42. That's where Tyler Hero should be paid. As soon as he gets the max contract for 50, 52, 55, 3-year extension, that's where we're doomed. That's where we're doomed. So that's why, I'm either extending him at that price point, 37 or 40 mil, or I'm saying, I'm sorry, man, we're trading you, and we'll recoup some assets. That's where I'm at with Tyler Hero. Not giving him 50. Not giving him 50. Next question, Sam Brown. Sam Brown. What's the % chance I have to suffer through Rozier staying in Miami next year? Ugh. We'll go 25%. The latest intel around the Miami Heat is that Miami is active right now, potentially executing a sign and trade with Duncan Robinson. And then the number 2 thing that they are most active right now is that they are aggressively shopping Terry Rozier. And I saw a prediction on this, and I kind of like it, where, well, I don't like it. It's kind of where I think things might end up going. It might be like a 3-team sign-and trade where Duncan Robinson goes to the Pistons, a second-round pick comes to Miami, but then they attach that second-round pick to Terry Rozier to offload that deal. You might ultimately see, as crazy as this sounds, a 3-team deal between Miami, Utah, and Detroit. Duncan Robinson to the Pistons, Terry Rozier and a second-round pick to the Jazz, John Collins to Miami. Collins becomes your backup big who can play with Bam and Ware if you wanted to play huge. He could play with Bam. He could play with Ware. You could have those 3 working in rotation as your front court trio. And then his contract is $26.6 million expiring, just like Rozier. So it's the same contract as Terry, but you have a much better player that can actually make some noise on the roster, but you're not sacrificing cap space in the future potentially. So you might see that 3-team sign and trade deal. I think that's an interesting hypothetical that I'm keeping my eyes on right there. You could also see if I know this doesn't affect Rozier, but if you trade Duncan to Detroit. You might get Simone Fontecchio back. Maybe you package Rozier and Fontecchio to Utah to get Collins, to where you're keeping a roster spot open in that deal, to where you're sending out Duncan, you're sending out Rozier, you get John Collins, and you still have an open roster spot to sign like a shooter off the bench potentially. All right. Thank you, Sam Brown. It was a great question. Hopefully I answered it for you. Carter, if the Cavs don't go far in the playoffs, could we see Donovan Mitchell request a trade and Miami go for him or De'Aaron Fox? Carter, De'Aaron Fox is more likely than Donovan Mitchell. I don't think Donovan Mitchell requests out. I don't. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I'm not going to bank on it. But De'Aaron Fox could be someone that absolutely gets dealt. Why do I think that could be the case? Well, they drafted Dylan Harper, and they have Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year last season. They have Devin Vassell. What if Dylan Harper is who I believe he can be, which is an all-pro, all-star level player? And all-NBA, I should say, not all-pro. But if they realize that they have that on their hands in Dylan Harper, why would they ruin his development potentially by keeping him off ball with De'Aaron Fox there? So you could see the Spurs be like, oh, wow, Dylan Harper really is this good. Why not let's just build a team that is all on rookie contracts or cheap contracts of Harper, Castle, Vassell, Wembanyama, and that's their core four. My hot take is that if Dylan Harper is really, really good, you will see De'Aaron Fox traded at the deadline and the Spurs recoup some assets that they sent to Sacramento to get Fox originally. Because remember, when they made that move, they had no idea they were going to win the lottery and move up to the second overall pick to where they get Dylan Harper. So it was a good trade for the Spurs at the time. If you told the Spurs that Wemby was going to get blood clots and they were going to get the number 2 pick, I would have guaranteed you that the Spurs would have not traded for De'Aaron Fox. They would have been like, oh, we're going to get the number 2 pick? Okay, we'll hold on to all of our draft picks, draft Dylan Harper, and then use those picks in a different deal. All right. Got 400 people watching. Appreciate all y'all. Still some buzz about Andrew Wiggins being traded. The Lakers could be interested. Apparently the Bucks were interested. I don't know if they were able to pull that move off anymore after the Myles Turner move. Someone said that who says no? Kuzma won a first-round pick to Miami. The Bucks get Wiggins. I don't think the Bucks would send a first alongside Kuzma. Miami would also have Kuzma under contract for 2 years. Is Miami doing that? I don't know. Wow, we just got a signing. Tim Hardaway, 1-year deal to the Denver Nuggets. I know some people speculated that potentially you could see Hardaway come to Miami as a Duncan Robinson replacement. Not so fast. Could have saw Duncan Robinson go to Denver. Not so fast. Hardaway heading to Denver. Interesting 1-year deal there, I think. Yeah, 1-year deal. 1-year deal there. That's the most recent deal in the NBA. Well, let me know. Will the Heat trade Andrew Wiggins? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell you what, I like what Denver's done this offseason, man. Trade for Cam Johnson, got rid of Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown Jr. added as a bench player, Valanciunas, now Tim Hardaway. That team's going to be solid. You look at that starting lineup next year, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. You've got Tim Hardaway, Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas coming off of the bench. You also will have Peyton Watson coming off of the bench. That's an interesting team over there in Denver. I think I would have them as the third team in the West next year. I would. I think it goes OKC, Houston, Denver. That's what I think. They're coming back for it, man. They're trying to make a move. I like what they've done in the West. Like what they've done. Yeah, I'm just looking here. Murray, Jokic, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Zeke Naji, Brown, Payne Watson, Julian Strawther still there. They've got their first-round pick from a year ago, Deron Holmes, returning from injury. He can get some run. Like what the Nuggets have done, man. Firmly cemented as my third team in the West. I tell you what, they gave OKC all they could handle. If Aaron Gordon doesn't get hurt for Game 7, heck, you might see it's a different NBA champion right now, folks. Might see it. All right. I see. What did y'all say about Andrew Wiggins? Yes? More people saying yes than no, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to offer a deal that I offered yesterday's stream. We'll do it again. First $20 super chat that comes in is a beer bong. Usually a beer bong is $50, but first 20 to come in, I'll do a beer bong. I'll chug a Happy Dad here as we get into happy hour on a Tuesday afternoon for the first 20. See if anyone takes advantage of that deal. Whew. You know, the rumor mill about 2 hours ago, Dylan, was so hot on Miami. It felt like a trade was like right on the precipice with Duncan Robinson. And things seems to have cooled off, or at least gone silent right now. Hoping to see that get picked back up. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. We'll see, though. We'll see. You know what's going to happen? We're going to sign off around 5:15. We're going to, our time, that is. Eastern time, 6:15. We're going to leave the office, and within 40 minutes of leaving the office, Duncan Robinson's going to get signed and traded. That's just how it works. Just how it works. It's how it always works. $5 super chat from Kyle. 4 straight years of nothing. What's more likely? We're banking on one of our young guys becoming something, or we're hoping for a star falls into our laps? The former. The more likely is that they're banking on one of the guys to step up. I think the front office plan is that we're going to just take it easy, maybe make a couple moves where, like, you get rid of Wiggins, you get rid of Terry Rozier, and then you let the young guys play. You let Jovic get more of a role. You let Kel'el Ware get more of a role. You play the rookie first-round pick, Kasparas Yakachonis. Maybe Jaquez gets a little bit more put on his plate. And then you just hope that out of those 4 young guys, of Jovic, Ware, Jaquez, Yakachonis, that one of them just really gets like elevated and takes the step forward to where they're an all-star level player. And then you have a third all-star level guy alongside Tyler and Bam, and you're like, okay, we know who our third guy is now out of those 4 young guys. Maybe we can trade some of the other younger guys to build a better group around those 3 all-stars that end up developing. Or you hope that another young guy develops into something special. That's the truth. I think that's what the plan is. Let the young guys play this year. Get rid of long-term money. Let the young guys play and let them develop. But if a star requests a trade, like a Giannis, then the Heat will be there to pounce as well because they still have all their young guys and their draft picks. That's kind of where it seems like it's going. It's kind of where it's going. So thank you for the $5 super chat, Kyle. Let's go Heat! Let's go Heat! Let's go Heat! $5 super chat. We get a Let's Go Heat chant. Remember, first $20 super chat of the day, it's a live show. Or, we are live. It is a beer bong. We'll see if one comes in. Appreciate all the subscribers. We're on the way to 24,000. We're under 500 away. Can we get there for Haywood Highsmith? We get to 24K for Haywood Highsmith, who wears 24 for Miami. Then the next number is 25. That's the young rook, Kasparas Yakachonis. Will we get there? Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Oh, man. All right, do you want to cycle through some other questions that we have? Remember, you can either super chat to get your thoughts on the live show, or you can use hashtag Heat, and Dylan will choose what comments and questions get on the live show. Hashtag Heat or super chat. Miami Nick with a question. Who are your favorite free agent targets? I like Trey Mann. All right. Good question. Let's cycle through the top free agents available that we have here. There's one in particular that I like. I'll name another, but I'm not sold on much of the other players, if I'm going to be honest, Miami Nick. The top free agents available are Kuminga, Giddey, Ayton, Grimes, and Thomas. We know Miami has been linked to Jonathan Kuminga in some capacity. The latest news and rumors out there is that Miami really isn't that in on Kuminga, but we'll see if that ultimately changes. Miami will not show interest in Giddey, Ayton, Grimes, or Thomas, but maybe Kuminga could be a player that the Heat pursue. Next group of players, Damian Lillard will obviously headline a lot of the news for Miami. Rightfully so. We'll see if they sign him to a multi-year deal, let him rehab this season, maybe return at the end of the year, and then slot him in as a starting point guard next year. Brogdon, Chris Paul, and Horford, I don't expect Miami to show interest in. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit intrigued with Mo Wagner. I would be intrigued by giving him like a 2-year, $10 million deal. He is coming off a torn ACL. He suffered in January, but he's likely would be ready for like January and February of next year because players return from an ACL basically quicker than 12 months now. It's pretty insane. So Wagner would be ready to go for the second half of the season. I think he's a pretty high-energy big man that I would be open to adding off the bench to be that third big with Bam and Ware. So Wagner certainly is an intriguing player for me. He's definitely a target. Tim Hardaway Jr. just got signed by the Nuggets, so he's off the board. I'm not that in on Trey Mann because he's one of those guards that just like is a high-volume scorer. I don't really think he fits the mold of what Miami's looking at the guard spot, especially next to Tyler Hero. Russ, I don't think is going to sign with Miami. He's probably going to go to a contender. Larry Nance Jr., I got to be honest, is a little bit intriguing to me as that third big man. Not the greatest, not the worst, but I would definitely put him in that same category as like a Mo Wagner type of third big man in rotation with Bam and Ware. So I am intrigued with Larry Nance Jr. And then the number one guy I have at this point on my list, assuming Duncan Robinson ultimately signs elsewhere, it's Amir Coffey. I like Amir Coffey a lot. Got an expanded role for the Clippers this past season. Averaged 9.7 points per game. Shot 41% from three. He's 6'7", can play the 2, can play the 3. defends at a relatively solid level, in my opinion, as well. So I like Amir Coffey a lot. So if I had to rank my top 3 right now, Miami, Nick, if you do not include Damian Lillard, it's probably Coffey 1, Mo Wagner 2, Larry Nance 3. The Heat need a shooter off the bench, assuming they don't get Duncan Robinson back. Just don't know where they're finding that at this point with Luke Kennard off the board. We'll see. We'll see. Jake Fisher with a new report on Duncan Robinson. We just said it on a Bleacher Report stream. The Pistons are definitely still a team, I think, in play for Duncan Robinson. I've already been tipped on some potential sign and trade scenarios that could make that work between Miami and Detroit. So that's something we're still waiting to see how that could unfold. A lot of the Miami reporters from the Herald, 5 Sports Network, reported today that they no longer think Duncan Robinson is going to return to Miami. So it feels more and more likely that Duncan Robinson is gone and the Pistons could be that top option. We'll see what Miami could get back and a potential sign and trade. So hopefully I answered that question. Man Ray says we might be the second worst team in the division, barring a big move. No, Washington and Charlotte are still worse at this moment. I'll say this. For this season, if we're worse than Charlotte or Washington, that would suck to watch this year for sure. But what that would also mean is that we're likely picking inside the top 5. And this is a loaded draft class coming up. I know I spoke very highly about this class, the one that just got drafted. But this next year, I mean, are you kidding me? AJ DeBansta, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, Nate Ament, Jaden Quintance. There are some dogs in this upcoming draft, man. Some dogs. Some dogs. Ethan, do you think Bam would be a Heat lifer? Yes. I don't see Bam Adebayo ever requesting a trade. And I don't see Miami trading Bam really either. Like, there's only like 3 players that the Heat would trade Bam for, maybe. Maybe Giannis. Maybe SGA. Maybe Wembanyama. I don't see him requesting a trade, and I don't think Miami would want to ever trade him. So he is a Heat lifer, which doesn't bother me. He's our captain. He's my guy, leader of the defense. He's certainly my dude, man. He is my guy. He is my guy. I think the people that hate on Bam just don't understand the game of basketball. Because Bam just does so much, man. He is our best defender. He's a top 5 defensive player in the NBA. And unfortunately, he just has to set screens and help everybody else. I know he's inconsistent at times offensively, but he's just not finding a better player for the Heat than Bam Adebayo at that position spot. Sorry. Russell with a $3 super chat. Appreciate you, Russell. What does a Wiggins trade to the Lakers look like? I can tell you right now. It's one of two. One of two. It's Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and a first-round pick. Or it's Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and Dalton Connect. Those are the 2 different trades. And I'll be honest, even if it's the first one, I'm happy. If it's the second one, it's probably a 3-team deal where maybe you get Hachimura and Vincent, you reroute Dalton Connect to a 3rd team for a first-round pick. But if the Heat trade Andrew Wiggins to the Lakers, I do not think they do it unless they get a first-round pick in return, whether it's from the Lakers or from a different team rerouting a player like Dalton Connect. See, this is how I know the people don't know ball, Dylan. Macbon, notorious Bam Adebayo hater, says, no, we get it. Bam is like Lou Dort, Caruso, Tamari Carr-Hart. Bam was so great, he made 0 all-defensive teams. Fun fact, Macbon, Bam Adebayo has been an all-NBA defensive player for the last 5 years. This year was the first year he did not make an all-defensive team since the 2020s. I mean, some people I just don't think watch the game, man. Some people don't watch. It's just terrible. Unbelievable. I mean, you try to spin this propaganda of not making any all-NBA defensive team. He's been an all-NBA defender 5 straight years until this season. Macmon's now saying, tell us what Bam has accomplished without Jimmy. You tell me what Jimmy has accomplished without Bam. How about that? How about that? Let me know. I know I can't read Macmon's comments because it just pisses me off. The guy just blames Bam for everything that happens bad to the Heat. Yes. What's up, Anthony Cruz? How's it going? 500 people watching. Can we get to 200 likes? We're 19 away. Let's get to 200 likes. Love the Miami Heat. If you guys are watching the stream, I'm assuming you love the Miami Heat. Show me by hitting that thumbs up icon. This is the final thing I'm saying on the topic with Macmon. He answers by says, Jimmy made it to the second round of the playoffs. Bam has won a single playoff game. Okay, we're clapping it up for a second round playoff appearance. By the way, that team had an MVP caliber player in Joel Embiid. Like, let's just be real here. Jimmy Butler, outside of his tenure with Miami, didn't really win anything. Nothing. Made a second round playoff. Like, what are we doing here? Thank you, Hector Rivera. We got the 200 likes, so appreciate everybody. Jake Fisher just continues to talk about Duncan Robinson to the Pistons. It feels like that is just going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen? It feels like Duncan to the Pistons is going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen?
It's going to be as soon as we sign off.
Yeah, I agree. Just tweet this out. Trade Rozier and Wiggins this offseason. Starting lineup of Yakachonis, Hero, Jovic, Bam, and Ware. Dame rehabbing. This is how I win. This is how I win. Listen, I didn't say Yakachonis was going to start. I just said I would start him. If you're going young, then why not start the 19-year-old point guard? Let him learn by his mistakes, right? Like, I think that's something you should absolutely do. Would I trade Bam for Giannis? Yeah, I would. I would. Like, I'm one of the biggest supporters and Bam defenders out there because I understand how valuable he is to a winning basketball team. But I understand that Giannis is the top 3 player in the league, and Bam will never be what Giannis is right now. So, yeah, I would trade for Giannis. Yeah, I would trade for Giannis.
Apparently, he's not happy with the Bucks with letting Lillard go. So if he goes to the Heat,
could you imagine trade for Giannis, trade Bam and a bunch of trade Bam and picks for Giannis, and then sign Dame, let him rehab, and you have a Dame Giannis duo in Miami? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Man, we're really not going to see anything. I saw someone ask if I'm going to be sad for Duncan leaving. I will be sad. Like, I'm fine with letting him go. I am. But I will be sad if Duncan leaves. I mean, he's been here the second longest outside of Bam. Bam was drafted in 2017. Duncan got here the year before Hero. So Bam and Duncan have been the 2 players on the Heat the longest right now. So it would be sad. He's the most prolific 3-point shooter in Heat history. I think Hero, if he stays with Miami for at least like 4 more years, will end up passing Duncan Robinson. But, yeah, I'll be sad. Yeah, Jonathan Soto, I was planning on doing a Dolphins live after the Darren Waller trade. I was like, let's talk a lot of Dolphins with the Ramsey trade, Waller. But there's a lot of rumors and a lot of buzz that the Heat might do a sign-and trade for Duncan. Plus, they've been linked to Damian Lillard. So I figured I should probably come over here and talk. Listen, this is the 1 week a year where the NBA has all of the attention. So I went with the NBA over NFL in July, despite there being a lot of interest. Okay, a little bit of an update here. Ready for this? I'll read this and then the super chat. So, if you guys don't, by the way, subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports Network off the floor, you are sadly missing out. It's like $5 a month. I pay for it. 5 Reasons does a great job. They provide great updates and commentary, great podcast. I would do that, and it also, you get inside information. Ethan, who is the main guy, just tweet or sent in there, I'll fill everyone else in when the deal happens, but the Heat and Duncan Robinson were always parting ways. I learned today. This was a shared resolution. The Heat want to go younger. We will see if the coach obliges. So the front office wants to go younger. They want to lean into Bam, Hero, Ware, Jovic, Jaquez, Yakachonis. Duncan Robinson getting into his 30s. He was projected to make $19 million. They were either going to waive Duncan Robinson if he opted into that $9.9 million or look to trade him and then move on from there. But then they were like, well, Duncan, why don't you, since we're guaranteeing, I'm sorry, it's been a great run, you won't be back with us next year. So it's like you can either opt into that $9 million guaranteed and sign somewhere cheaper after we waive you, or you can go into unrestricted free agency as one of the top shooters and get a larger contract. And I think that's what happened. So as things continuously progress here, it seems like it is basically guaranteed that Duncan Robinson will not be on the Heat next year. And that's what we've been talking about and expecting, but it's pretty much guaranteed at this point. $2 super chat from Lawnmower. He should trade Hero and assets instead. Are you saying that he should trade Tyler Hero for assets? Or are you talking he should trade Hero and assets for Giannis? Well, I'll be honest. Bam and Giannis, I don't think work together because both of them don't space the floor. Now, it would be the best defensive duo, I think, in NBA history. I think it would. But the offensive fit would be a little bit of a clunky one. So, I'll be honest. If you're trading for Giannis, I think it would actually make more sense to keep Hero, to run that pick and roll, have a ball handler, floor spacer when they collapse the defense on Antetokounmpo. That's kind of how I view it. So, like, as crazy as it sounds, I think it would make sense for Miami to just upgrade from Bam to Giannis and do that. Lawnmower says the message is about Giannis. I assume so. So, that's my thoughts on it, Lawnmower. I also think the Bucks would rather get Giannis or get Bam in return. So, would I want to keep Bam and Hero and try to trade like Ware, Jovic, Yakachonis, and all the first-round picks possible? Yeah, I would try to do that. But they would probably want one of Hero or Bam. And I would rather choose, even though I think Bam is a way better player than Hero, I would actually rather trade Bam in that scenario. I would. Tim with a 10. What is the best features about our new rookie? I don't watch a lot of college basketball outside of Alabama. Well, Tim, I'm glad you asked me because this is one of my favorite questions that you could actually ask me. Yakachonis was one of my favorite players in the draft. He was my 6th overall player on the big board. I'll read you my entire scouting report. I lead our scouting here in the NBA draft at Chat Sports. I lead our draft coverage. So I do scouting reports for my top 60 guys. And here is my scouting report on Yakachonis for the people that don't know and haven't watched our content in the past. Here are the goods with Yakachonis. Crafty scorer inside the paint who is able to score despite tough angles. Shot 64% at the rim as a freshman at Illinois. He is an elite level playmaker. That's his top trait right there, his ability to play make. He ran the offense in full at Illinois, 26% assist rate, 94th percentile in pick and roll situations as the ball handler. So he play makes. He's a great player in the pick and roll. Now, he shot a little bit poor from three, 31.8%, but he shot 41% from three in his first 15 games at Illinois, suffered a forearm injury, and his numbers kind of fell off a cliff in the second half of the year. Many people might attribute that to the forearm injury. But despite that low shooting percentage, he shot 35.8% on step-back threes. Yakachonis is someone very comfortable and capable of shooting off of the dribble. He's actually a better three-point shooter at this stage in his career off of the dribble than off of the catch. I like that. He's very physical. He plays physical on both ends. He's a good rebounder for a point guard. Average 5.7 boards per game. He's 6'4" and 3/4, so with shoes, he's a 6'6" point guard. He rebounds extremely well. He is physical. He's a competitor. That's what I really like. Now, the bads on Yakachonis, he's a very average athlete. Had a 35-inch vertical. Not the worst, not the best, so very average. But he's not the fastest either. He's going to beat you with his handle. He's going to beat you with finding the right angles. He's not going to beat you by just being a better athlete, which I actually kind of like at points because it means you're just a better, more skilled basketball player. He does need to improve his decision-making. He's a turnover machine. 23% turnover rate. Too many crazy passes. He tried to make the hero pass too much. But it also, when you watch his tape and film, man, oh man, does he make some absurd passes, whether it's whipping one across the court in the pick and roll, drawing two and kicking it out to the perimeter, dropping it off to the big man on a drive. And I've always said Kasparas Giacochonis is going to really benefit from NBA spacing. Collegiate defenses would just crash inside when Giacochonis would drive, and it would force him into a tough mid-range pull-up, a tough contested shot at the rim, which he still shot pretty well at, because the rest of that Illinois team wasn't the best shooting team. You get him with NBA shooters where defenses can't crash the paint as much. Well, Giacochonis is going to have more room to operate inside and be able to play make a little bit more. I think Giac was the best pick. Like I said, I had him 6th on my big board, and it was a no-brainer pick for the Heat once he was available at 20. And I'm very, very happy they made that pick. So, Tim, hopefully you got your $10 worth on that question right there, because I just gave you as deep as a breakdown as I could in that 5-minute span rather than a full video or something. So hopefully you would enjoy that. Listen, I understand that the turnover concerns and the athleticism concerns are there, but the positives outweigh the negatives by a wide margin in my book. Plus size, playmaker, solid shooter off the catch, great rebounder, competitor, will play his ass off. I love it. I love it. Gotta love it, man. Ugh, can this thing go down? It's going to be sad seeing Duncan leaving, but I just kind of feel like this is holding up things from Miami point. Are they just going to get picks back? Are they going to get Fontecchio back? Are they going to try to rope it into a 3-team deal where Rozier goes somewhere? I know it's been a slow first 24 hours, but I'm hoping to get something going here with Duncan soon. Oh, look at this guy. One of the best Heat content creators out there. My guy, Anthony. How you doing, my friend? If you guys have not watched his content, by the way, you are missing out in a massive way. So make sure you go click on his page in the chat, subscribe, and watch his stuff. He's phenomenal. Appreciate the support, my guy, Anthony. It ain't easy. You ain't wrong about that. Appreciate the nice comment and support right there, man. Appreciate you. And that's a $5 super chat. We're going Let's Go Heat chance. Let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. Come on, baby. Come on. By the way, most recent move in the NBA, the Clippers waived Drew Eubanks, and then he is going to sign a 1-year deal, 4.75 non-guaranteed contract with the Sacramento Kings. So Eubanks to the Kings. I've talked about it. The Heat could be interested in a backup big man. There's not many good ones out there. The only ones that have me slightly intrigued is Mo Wagner, but he'd have to recover from an ACL injury, and maybe Larry Nance. But right now, they don't really have a backup big unless they would plan to go like small with Kyle Anderson. Like Kevin Love ain't getting PT. So I tell you what, that backup big spot is certainly still something that I am eyeing. Unless they plan to play like a Jovic at that level, but I feel like we just got to stop playing Jovic as like the big. Like, he is just so good in terms of getting out in transition, spacing the floor, playing on the perimeter as a playmaker. I don't want him to be bogged down being forced to play and guard big men inside. He showed the capability in those playoff games to be a little bit disruptive on the wing. A little bit disruptive. But we know my guy Spoelstra likes to play young. Likes to play small. Not young, but small, I meant to say. We'll see. Did bring in Vlad Golden on a 2-way contract in UDFA. By the way, we'll get to see Miami Summer League squad on Saturday. That'll be interesting. First Miami Heat Summer League game, California Classic, this Saturday against the Spurs in the afternoon. That's going to be fun. Get to see our first look at Dylan Harper. A little Kasparas Jonas Dylan Harper battle ain't gonna shy away for you. I'll be watching on a Saturday afternoon. I'll be watching. A little Big Ten point guard matchup there. Sign me up for that. Carter Bryant playing as well. Carter Bryant versus Kashad Johnson. It's going to be a fun wing matchup there. The Heat announced their full Summer League schedule just yesterday. Saturday, July 5th, Spurs Heat. Sunday, July 6th, Lakers Heat. July 8th, Heat Warriors. And then Summer League Las Vegas. So those 3 games initially were the California Classic. Spurs Saturday, Lakers Sunday, Warriors Tuesday. And then the Summer League in Vegas starts on Friday the 11th against the Hawks. They play the Cavs on Sunday, Celtics that Monday, and then their final game is against the Pistons on Thursday the 17th, and then they will always play one more game as well, at least one game. Hey, who knows? If they go 4-0 in those 4 games and they want to try to reclaim Summer League titles, the defending champs, maybe they'll play a couple games in that 4-team tournament to win it all. But that's the Summer League schedule. Kalel Ware's on the Summer League team. We'll see how long he plays. So is Palel Larson. So is Kashad Johnson. I'm going to be excited to watch the Summer League team, man. You got Yakachonis, Larson, Kashad, Vlad Golden, Kalel Ware. I don't anticipate Kalel Ware playing a lot. I think he plays like 1 or 2 games, and then they call it after that. There's no reason to have him play out there. He's going to look so much better than everyone else. Honestly, I feel bad for him. I expect Palel Larson to ball out too, to be fair. Yeah, but Kalel Ware plays 2 games, send him home, and then roll with Vlad Golden, Omar Ballo, and Danya as your big man rotation. I'm in on that. You still got Kashad Johnson, Palel Larson, Yak, Kira Lewis, the former first-round pick out of Alabama. He's on the squad. It's going to be fun, man. Got an interesting team. Got an interesting team. Still nothing around Duncan Robinson, unfortunately. If we get no moves by the top of the hour, probably out of here. Probably out of here. Yeah, let's answer some questions again. Remember, Super Chat gets you on the live show. We'll show your Super Chat no matter what. If you use hashtag Heat in a question, and one of my targets is off the board. Do you want to know? Guess which one it is, Dylan? Not Mo Wagner. It's Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. just signed with the Cavs. Yep. So my 3 biggest targets at this point in free agency, outside of Dame, I don't count Dame right now, were Larry Nance Jr., Mo Wagner, and Amir Coffey. Those are the people I was spacing. Well, Larry Nance Jr. is not going to be it. So if we're signing a backup big in free agency, Mo Wagner is the only one I would be willing to do. I like literally no other center. Yeah, Al Horford's better, but we're not signing Al Horford. We're also not signing DeAndre Ayton. So I'm thinking of players that we could sign. Ayton's going to be a Laker. Let's just cut the shit. Al Horford's either going back to Boston or he's going to Golden State. So let's just cut the shit. Those 2 sign. We'll see. But Lawnmower with a question. Do you think Yakachonis has a Jared McCain type breakout? Well, hopefully not, because that would mean he ends up getting hurt. I'm just kidding. They just play a different style. Like, when Jared McCain was coming out, I had him as a top 10 player in that class. I was high on his shooting ability, his ability to be a secondary ball handler and a shooter. Shooter, defense, secondary ball handling. And I think he displayed that ability alongside Tyrese Maxey, or as like a change of pace guard off the bench before he got hurt. He started a little bit too. With Yakachonis, he's more of a guy that's like, he is running your offense. He is the playmaker, your point guard, where he might not average 25 a game. There's a chance he does at the height of his career if everything works out for him. But his best work early on is going to be him averaging maybe 12 points, 7 assists. Like, he's just going to be distributor. Run the pick and roll with Bam. Run the pick and roll with Ware. Hopefully you get them more easy looks where they don't have to just create on their own. They don't have to get offensive rebounds. No, they're getting spoon-fed easy layups and dunks in transition and in the half court because you have a true playmaking point guard. That's kind of where I'm eyeing Yakachonis' role. So could he have a early impact like Jared McCain? I think that's very much in the cards. But just the play style is not similar. So if you're talking about early impact, yeah, I see that being possible. But in terms of the way they play, no, not at all. Not at all. Still no details on that Larry Nance deal. It's kind of rare that you get a contract. Actually, that's true. We didn't get a deal on Gary Harris. We know he signed with the Bucks, but I don't think salary has been retweeted out. It's funny. Chris says Rookie of the Year. Listen, if you're a betting man, I would sprinkle Yakachonis Rookie of the Year. I think I saw it was like plus 5,000. This is ridiculous odds. But it's just severely unlikely because Cooper Flagg's got the narratives going for him. He's also the best player in the draft without a question. I don't think Dylan Harper wins it because what would that be? The third straight year a Spurs player won Rookie of the Year? Maybe they would give him it because of that. But I also don't think he's going to have that large of a role. Maybe he does, and maybe they move off of De'Aaron Fox at the deadline, and Harper is that good where he wins Rookie of the Year. I do think Yakachonis has got a solid shot. I would just give it to Flagg probably number one. I think number two for me would be Trey Johnson because he's going to be asked to be one of the more primary scorers on that Wizards team. He's also maybe just one of the best bucket getters and shooters in this draft, so I could see him putting up good numbers to where he wins it. I also wouldn't be shocked if Jeremiah Fears won it, if he just was able to take over the reins as the point guard in New Orleans. Now, they still have got DeJounte Murray and Jordan Poole, so we'll see if he ends up starting. But if they start Fears day one, he could really have a chance. But, yeah, I just don't – I'm not sold on him winning Rookie of the Year, but I do think he has a shot. It would just take a lot to go right for Yakachonis, to be honest. It would take a lot. He has to start right away, in my opinion. And you have to have, like, Cooper Flagg be either underwhelming or, unfortunately, get hurt. Because that's how impactful Flagg will be right away. Tyson, what 2026 draft prospects realistically would you want the Heat to get? Well, depends on where the Heat are picking. Let's just say in a perfect world. Well, I don't know if a perfect world is this very good to say. But let's just say Miami is not as good in 2026. And it's anticipated that they're going to struggle. They do struggle. And they're inside the top 8 or 10 based off the lottery. Obviously, the pipe dream is to win the lottery and have a top 3 pick. Top 3 pick would guarantee you either Darren Peterson, who is a true freshman point guard at Kansas, who is my number one player in the class early on, Cam Boozer, the forward true freshman going to Duke, or AJ DeBansta. I always say DeBansta. I got to start with DeBansta, the true freshman going to BYU. Those 3 are the top 3 prospects. We also got Jaden Quintance from Kentucky, a big man who's a projected top 5 guy. Nate Ament coming from Tennessee. You got a French point guard. I'm spacing on the name. You got Michael Brown. You got a lot of good players in this draft. In a perfect world, if you're looking towards the draft next year, you get lucky if you're in the top 10, like it could be expected, and you go with DeBansta, Peterson, or Boozer. Be awesome. Peterson, I think, is going to be so good. I mean, I really do. He's unbelievable. He is absolutely unreal. Still nothing, man. Still nothing. Dylan, what we thought was going to happen is 100% happening. We're signing off, and then within 30 minutes of us signing off, Duncan's going to do sign and trade. It's how it's going to work, man. It's how it always works. Jack! What's up, man? At what point do Bam and Tyler get exhausted from not getting any help, just like Jimmy, hypothetically? Well, here's the difference. Jimmy was the number one option on a Heat team that went to the finals twice. The Heat have not seen Bam and Tyler show the ability to be the two driving forces of a successful team. This year, after they traded Jimmy, they were bad. And then they got it swept in embarrassing fashion in the first round against the Cavs. Last year, when Jimmy was hurt, Bam and Tyler lost in 5 games to the eventual champion Celtics. So they've played 9 playoff games. They're 1-8. They do not have the leeway at this point to get exhausted over no help from the front office, since they have not shown the ability to even potentially win a playoff series. If they, as a duo, won a playoff series, or even took the Celtics or Cavs to like 6 or 7 games, well, then it's like, okay, they've proven they could compete in the playoffs. Get them help, get them a third guy, and now maybe we can be a contender. So to me, they can't complain about making no move, or the front office making no moves, until they prove they should be built around. That's my thoughts, Jack. What's up, Apachito? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So that's my answer on that one. You can't complain if you can't lead. Jimmy had the right to complain because he took you to 2 finals. And you bypassed the Donovan Mitchell trade. You bypassed the Kevin Durant trade. You bypassed the Damian Lillard trade. Now, bypass might be the right word, might be the wrong word to say, but those 3 players were available. All 3 players would have been very happy playing in Miami. You were on KD's list. You were the number 1 team on Dame's list, and we know Donovan Mitchell would have played in Miami because he had and does have a great relationship with Bam and Adebayo. They're best friends. You didn't get any of those deals done because you weren't willing to offer the best foot forward. So, yeah, I understand why Jimmy would get upset. Bam and Tyler don't get that leeway to be upset. They don't get it. Let's ask who. We'll answer this in the next question. Let's ask them the people who we want the Heat to sign. James, a question. Are Westbrook quitting NBA rumors real? Would you sign him? I don't think there's any rumors about... I have not seen anything about Russell Westbrook retiring from the NBA. I think he signs with a contending team. Who? I don't know. I know the Knicks were potentially an option, but they went with Jordan Clarkson and Urban Gavaselli, so I think they'll probably just stay with those 2 signings in free agency. I don't think I would look into signing Westbrook because, one, we're not in the mode to compete, and I would rather just let Davion Mitchell, Yakachonis, and Hero be your trio of guards in terms of point guards. So, yeah, I'm out on Russ. I actually was borderline in for a moment if we trade for KD, because I think it would have been aura to have KD and Westbrook on the same team again, where Westbrook would be coming off the bench as a cheap guard. But at this point in his career and where the Heat are at in their team building, I'm focusing on letting the young guys get as many reps as possible, and I'm staying away from Russell Westbrook. Who should the Heat sign? Larry Nance Jr. signed with the Cavs. He was one of my top 3 targets. My top 2 are now Amir Coffey and Mo Wagner. I would sign Dame on a cheap deal, but we'll see. Mo Wagner and Amir Coffey are my top 2. Mo saying Wagner. Rugrat saying Bobby. Bobby who? Bobby Portis already signed with the Bucks, so I don't know if you're referring to him, Rugrat. But he's already off the board. I don't think there's any other Bobbies out there. Don't think so. But let me know, who should the Heat sign? Jan says Dame, Amir Coffey, and then trade for John Collins. MacMon says Grimes. There's a rumor out there that Quentin Grimes wants $25 million. I know he was unbelievably good for the 76ers down the stretch of the season, but that's just absolutely ridiculous. I would give him the mid-level. I'd give him 3 for 42. But I'll be honest, if you sign him to a 3 for 42 year deal, the Sixers are going to match that. I think the Sixers are willing to give him the mid-level 14 mil, but Quentin Grimes wants 25 or he wants 20, and that's not happening. If he gets it from another team, congrats, but certainly ain't going to be Miami. Certainly ain't going to be Miami. Someone said Bol. Listen, he got waived or didn't get his option picked up by the Suns. He's out there. Heat legend. People forget Dylan. He was drafted by the Heat in 2019. Traded on that draft night to the Nuggets. Sad. Or is it the Suns? I think it was the Nuggets. Yeah, I think he started with the Nuggets. Sad. I'd never forget that draft night, by the way. Tyler Hero is the number 1 guy I wanted at 13. They drafted him. I jumped up and down and ran around my garage. I was playing euchre with my friends. If anyone knows the card game euchre, it is a Northeast card game, but it's electric. If anyone knows, you're a legend. But I was playing euchre with my friends draft night. We had a pizza. We might have had drinks, even though I was certainly not 21 yet. Don't tell the police. And I was very excited. I was freaking awesome. And then we get to the second round, and I'm like, dude, Bol's still available. It would be absolutely electric if we took him in the second round. And we did, but we traded him. But could the prophecy be fulfilled with Bol coming back to Miami? That would certainly be something. Yeah, Tyler Hero was my favorite player in college that year during the 2019 season. That Kentucky team was electric. Hero, Keldon Johnson. They had Tyrese Maxey off the bench. They had, who is that point guard? Oh, I'm spacing on his name. Oh, Ashton Hagans is the name I was thinking of. Reed Travis from Stanford, the transfer big man, he was sick. They had P.J. Washington. He was sick. Dude, that Kentucky team was dope. I picked them to go to the Final Four in my bracket. They lost in the Elite Eight to Jarrett Harper and Auburn. Bummer. That was the year DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Guy, and Ty Jerome won the Natty for Virginia, though. I picked Virginia to win the Natty that year in my bracket. 16 seed. Yeah, they lost. First ever 16 seed to lose, UMBC. Next year, they go back and win the title. But yeah, I loved Hero in college, which is why I wanted to go to Miami. And it's worked out, man. I know Hero's got a lot of reservations as a player, bad defensively, playoff dropper, but there's no doubt that he has been a home run pick. In a redraft, he'd probably go top 5 in 2019. Like, I'll be honest. I think if you did a redraft, I think Hero's going higher than Zion, no questions. He's going higher than RJ Barrett. Ja's higher. Who else was in that draft, 2019? Ja's definitely higher. DeAndre Hunter went 4th. Hero's higher than him. Who went 5th? Oh, Fox went. No, Fox was 2017. I'm dumb. Let me just pull up the draft. But I think he's definitely top 5. Garland would be taken higher than Hero, I think. They're on the same tier. I think Garland's probably higher. Definitely Ja. Definitely. I wouldn't say definitely Garland, but I'd lean Garland. Yeah, Ty Jerome would be top 10 now. He would be higher than Jordan Poole. Claxton was taken, but Hero would be higher than Claxton. Daniel Gafford was in that draft, but Hero would still be higher. Terrence Mann was in that draft, but Hero would obviously be higher. A lot of busts in this draft. A lot of good as well. You know what? I'll make the statement Tyler Hero definitely going top 3 in a redraft of 2019. It's Ja Morant number 1, and then you can argue Darius Garland or Tyler Hero at 2 or 3. I mean, both have similar careers. Both have been on the All-Star team. Both are guards that have struggled in the playoffs, that are bad defensively. Yeah, Hero's definitely going 2 or 3 in that redraft, man. So, getting him at 13, quite a pick. Quite a pick. And that's the funny thing. Everyone complains about the front office. I've certainly complained about the front office not making moves. But they always draft well. They really do. Over the last decade, they've drafted extremely well. I know Justice Winslow stung, taking him over Devin Booker. But then getting Josh Richardson in the second round was a great pick. They get Bam in 2017, which was an unreal pick, obviously. And then in 2019, you get Tyler Hero, unbelievable pick. I know Achua was a bad one over Maxey, but Achua is still an NBA rotation player, where then you flipped him for Kyle Lowry in the sign-and trade, who then helped you go to 2 NBA or to a finals and a conference finals. Then you go Jovic, who has been a good pick for his draft slot at 27. Jaquez has been a good pick early on at that 18th spot. Kalel Ware, early good returns from the 15th spot. And now we'll see with Yakachonis. He'd have drafted well, man. He'd have drafted well. Let's flash up that other weigh-in of will the Heat make a move today. And then I'm going to change the live poll. Will the Heat make a move today? Yes or no? It's the live poll. It's also the question that I want to see what you guys say in the chat. Oh, man. What do you think? Did the Heat make a move today? Y for yes and for no. 78% of the live poll says no. What are y'all saying in the live chat, though? I haven't really seen anyone say yes or no. I'm looking in the live chat. I see sign Al Horford. He's not coming here. So, even though he would be a great fit off the bench, he's not coming here. LeBron James trade. I'm not believing that until he officially requests a trade. Troy says, Nick, in your opinion, do we have our future point guard, power forward, and center? I do. I actually do. I'm a believer in Yakachonis. I know it's early, but I had him 6th on my draft. I'm telling you, if the Heat kept their lottery pick this year and didn't make the playoffs, my number one target for Miami probably would have been Kasparas Giacochonis, and I'm not even kidding. It would have been Jeremiah Fears and Giacochonis as my top two, depending on where the Heat stayed in the lottery. If they stayed at 11, then it would have been Giacochonis number one. If they moved up in the lottery, it probably would have been Fears, Harper, Trey Johnson, one of those guys. Please explain why Horford would not come here, because we're not a contender. Like, Al Horford's 37, 38? He's only signing with a team that is going to contend for a title. He's either going back to Boston, because that's his home, and he knows they'll still be competitive, or he's going to Golden State to try to win a title there. He's 39. He ain't signing with a team that has no chance, which is Miami. You would have chose Cedric Coward. I like Coward a lot. I would have taken Giacochonis over him. Without question. And this isn't even revisionist history, and I love that for me. Like, for Heat fans that might say, oh, that's just revisionist history or just trying to hype up a new guy. No, I had him sixth on my big board. The only 5 players that I think are legitimately better than him in the draft, my 5 players that I had better than Giacochonis in this draft. This is my This is my personal big board, but these are my 5. Flag, Harper, Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe, Jeremiah Fears. Those were the 5 prospects I had graded higher than Giacochonis. That's how good I felt about this kid. And the fact he fell to 20, I mean, I really am stunned. I'm stunned. Wiggins, Rozier, and a first for LeBron. Yes, I would do it. Yes, I would do it. Ty, I don't think Ben Simmons and Dame share the same agent. Ben Simmons' agent is Bernie Lee. Ben Simmons has the same agent as Jimmy, not Dame. Dame's agent is Aaron Goodwin. So, I don't think that's true. Unless I missed the changing of agencies, but Ben Simmons has been with Bernie Lee for the longest time. And I want this on the record. Like, me saying that Al Horford's not coming here doesn't mean that I don't want him. I would love to sign Al Horford to a 1-year deal to be the backup big for the season. Would it make the Heat better? Yeah, it'd be awesome. But, like, it's not happening. So, like, I'm not going to let myself think it's even a possibility. I think Al Horford would legitimately rather retire than play for the Heat this year. Like, my thing is, like, Al Horford's either retiring or playing for his home team, Boston, or maybe going to the West Coast to try to win a title. Pats fans asking about that Celtics signing. Why should I care about Jordan Sinat, whatever his name is? Exactly. Trying to think. Do you think I should we should film a Heat video here at the end of live if nothing happens to go out? Is like a rumors roundup for the day, or I mean, we could do a video on like because we haven't done a Duncan or a Damian Lillard video yet. Probably maybe so. While we wind down here, because I said we're gonna sign off at the top of the hour. So what we're actually gonna do here is that I'm gonna send you some light graphics, socials, quotes, and then we will, at the top of the hour, if nothing happens, film a rumors video, sign off, and then I'll do the post prod, push it out, and that'll be my day, and that'll be the day. So I'm gonna send you some stuff here. Would you rather me put it in a doc or send it to you? Okay. Let me go second day VOD graphics. I'll just compile them here, and then I'll probably put them in order. I won't put together a full script, but I'll put them in order of the show flow here. So give me a second. Damian Lillard rumor is coming up soon. How about this? Barry Jackson, who said this, though some good players agreed the deals at the minimum, blah, blah, blah. Barry goes, I kind of like the Heat keeping open 15 spot for Lillard or any surprising cuts. I love the idea of front-loading a 2-year Lillard contract. Hello. Barry. I'm with you, my friend. Okay, so let's get some graphics here. There's one. Sorry, what you're going to see behind the scenes here. We'll be answering any questions or reacting to anything that happens here, but we're going to put together a little bit of a show plan for a video that we'll film. So I hope that trade-off is worth it, folks. So stay with us. Would you sign Malik Beasley? No. I mean, I would. But the problem is he might never play in the NBA again. So it's a little bit too much of a risk for me at this point. It's too much of a risk. I'm sorry. It's too much. I tell you what, though. You know what's the craziest thing? Is that when you woke up today, could you have imagined that Damian Lillard would be a free agent? I was going to say, it's crazy. Yeah, what a wild. Darren Waller comes out of retirement to go to the Dolphins, and Damian Lillard's a new free agent. Just an unbelievable day in the association and in the sports world. Yeah, MLB ain't doing shit. Even when that's the only sport on, that and the W, the NBA is never controlling that type of stuff, man. Just be careful. I noticed this on the Dolphins video earlier, by the way. I put my quotes like here so I could copy and put them into the description. Yeah, just make sure in the graphics that you take them away since it's already built in there. So we'll start there. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. So we do this video live on the channel. I think that's it. I don't know what else I would want to add. There hasn't been anything outside of Dame and Duncan today. Oh, this one isn't the one here. We should have a Damian Lillard big cam. You want the ironic thing is, we have a Damian Lillard Heat big cam. Fun fact. If you go to the Heat graphic sheet, you will see Damian Lillard Heat edit on there. Yeah, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Right? When that all was going down a long time ago, man, when I had Damian Lillard on my thumbnails and my shows for, like, if I made 7 videos out of a week in the summer of 2023, 5 of the 7 videos, we at least were talking about Damian Lillard for 4 minutes. All right, so those are the only graphics I'm going to add here for this show. The rest, like, in between those, you can just rotate L3s, and then I'll just kind of verbally mention when I want to, like, move to the next part. I think you'll be able to pick up on those cues. I think you'll be able to do that. All right, we have now 7 minutes until the top of the hour. 7 minutes. If nothing happens, we're going to film a video on the latest updates with Dame, Duncan Robinson, and then sign off. And I'll push out that video that we're filming here. I'm not buying the Giannis stuff. I thought Giannis was going to 1,000% request a trade this year with how bad that roster is, but if he's not doing it now, I don't know when he does. This is as bad as the Bucks will be. Like this season right here in Milwaukee is going to be as bad as it gets. It's going to be as bad as it gets. So if he's sticking it through it this year, I don't see him leaving. I don't. Should he request a trade? Yes, he should. Chris, I saw that report. That quote came out a while ago from Sam Amick. I was out like earlier today. But yeah, there was a little bit of rumors out there that Damian Lillard might have opted out of his $59 million player option next year regardless because he just simply doesn't want to play in Milwaukee anymore. So he's happy to just be out of the Bucks. He never wanted to go there. He wanted to be in Miami. But the Bucks had to get in the middle of business they should not have been on. And you know what? That's what we call karma. Same thing for Portland, too. They've been just shit. That trade package they got back was terrible. Ayton, off the team. Holiday, off the team, now back. The only team to benefit from the Dame trade to the Bucks is the Celtics, and that's the part that sucks the most. Terrible. Four minutes till the top of the hour. Doesn't look like anything is going to happen in the 2 hours we're live. I was hoping it would. Not the case. Who knew Jay Glazer was married to an absolute rocket? I didn't know that. Just Jay Glazer's got it like that, man. Got to give credit where credit's due. Man. What are we into free agency? Oh, we're 3 minutes away from 24 hours. And he'd have not made a move. What teams have not made a move in free agency? The Blazers made a trade, though, this offseason, so I absolve them. If you have made a trade this offseason, you are absolved. If the only thing you did is sign UDFAs and make a draft pick, that does not count as doing anything in the offseason. Have the Lakers done anything yet? Yeah, they signed Jake LaRavia. So they're off the board. I'm going to run through teams in my head. Oh, they might have not. Okay, let's look. The Cavs re-signed Sam Merrill. I guess the Heat re-signed Davion. Yeah, okay, so let's just say like making a different move that isn't resigning a player. Cavs got Lonzo. Celtics made a multiple trades. The Knicks signed 2 people. Don't think the Pacers have done anything. I really don't. No. They've just re-signed a couple guys, I think. Lost Myles Turner. That doesn't count. They haven't acquired anyone new. The Bucks have been active today. Pistons got LeVert. Magic have been active. The Hawks have been extremely active. They've actually had the best 24 hours, in my opinion. Them or the Nuggets. The Bulls. They traded Lonzo, so that counts. Toronto. They extended Podol, but have they signed or traded anyone? No, they lost him, I think. Manu went there? Okay, they signed Sandro Manu, whatever you say his name. Brooklyn, very active. Philly. They signed one Bull last night. Yeah, Trent Watford. Charlotte, they've been active on the trade market. Washington, they traded Jordan Poole. So the Heat are the only team. No. Miami and Indiana, 2 teams in the East that hasn't done anything. Let's move over to the West. OKC. They traded Dylan Jones. That counts. Houston, busy. LA Lakers, Jake LaRavia. Nuggets have been extremely busy. Clippers, they signed a backup center, Brook Lopez. T-Wolves, they've extended Randall and Naz Reid, but had they added anyone to the roster? They re-signed Ingles. So the T-Wolves have not made a trade or added anyone to the roster. First team in the West. The Warriors. They haven't done anything. To this point, I don't think the Warriors have done anything. No. Grizzlies trade. Kings Dennis Schroeder. Mavericks D'Lo. Phoenix trade. Portland trade. San Antonio, they signed Luke Cornett. New Orleans trade. Utah has made trades. So there are 4 teams in the NBA that have not made a move in the offseason of acquiring a new player or making a trade away. Warriors, T-Wolves, Heat, Pacers. Shocker. Those teams have re-signed players, lost players in free agency, but not signed a new one or made a trade. All right, when you're ready, Dylan, just let me know because we crossed the top of the hour. So what we're going to do here is when little producer Dylan is ready to roll, we're going to film a video on the latest around Damian Lillard rumors, Duncan Robinson, and then we're going to sign off here on this live show. And then we'll all just be sitting on our hands and knees waiting to see if Duncan Robinson ultimately signs and gets traded tonight to the Pistons. Or will that be a tomorrow thing? Either way, we'll be here to break it down. Who are the team? Oh, shit! It just happened! It just happened! Oh, my God, that's onions! Duncan Robinson has just been signed and traded. A 3-year, $48 million deal. Wait a minute. It might not be a sign and trade. Duncan Robinson just signed with the Pistons on a 3-year, $48 million deal. Onions. And now we wait to see if it is a sign-in trade or just a signing. Shams does not say trade. He just says signs. It sounds like it won't be a sign-in trade. Nope, there it is. Simone Fontecchio to Miami. There it is. Simone Fontecchio to Miami in the sign-in trade. Yeah, for real. There it is. Miami Heat execute a sign-in trade with the Pistons. Duncan to Detroit. Simone Fontecchio to the Heat. Justin, and there it is. Simone Fontecchio is your newest Miami Heatle. Duncan Robinson, one of the most prolific three-point shooters in NBA history, in Heat history, heads to the Detroit Pistons. And there is the first deal of the day. I'll change the title. Miami Heat Day 2, Duncan Robinson traded to Pistons. for Simone Fontecchio. That's not going to work in title. Trade the Pistons is all we're going to do. Day 2. Two Pistons. Save. It's dead. That's it. Grade the trade. Grade the trade. Grade the Duncan Robinson trade. A, B, C, D, or F. Heat get back Simone Fontecchio in return for Duncan Robinson on a 3-year, $48 million deal. Can someone fill in copy? Thumbnail in thumbnail room. Gonna need a highlight cut here in a second as well for Duncan S&T. So can you do me a favor? Can you just make a player bio for Simone Fontecchio? That's all I'll need there. Maybe I'll actually send you the social for Shams as well. But Duncan Robinson, appreciate his time in Miami. It's been a pleasure, my friend. Legendary run. Hold on. These were the 2 sign and trade scenarios Duncan on the table last night. Fontecchio allows the Pistons to give the deal. Duncan got 16 mil. Good for Duncan. I didn't expect Duncan to get that much. Is it so? It sounds like it's just Fontecchio. No. I just spelled that wrong, but Dale, I'm going to send you the social here. You built that one from Shams. Just quickly, can you get the L3 too? Sorry. All right, so I'm going to film a quick short here on this trade. And then we'll break down this move in more. But that is now 15 roster spots for Miami. So we don't have a spot on the roster no more. No player on the roster right now, man. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Fontecchio's a fine player. He's honestly killed Miami in the past. He's killed Miami, man. We'll see if what else happens here. I'm going to film a quick short on this news, and then we'll get into it more in depth. But Duncan Robinson signed and traded the Pistons for Simone Fontecchio. And on cue, the Miami Heat just announced that they have signed Yakachonis to their first-round pick. Or signed Yakachonis, which that doesn't come as a surprise, but just happened. 650 people watching. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. We're going to film a video, or film a short, film a video, and then react, answer super chats, and talk is next for this team. But let me film this short real quick. This is why you sub to the program. You get to watch the behind the scenes. How about that, folks? How about that, sports fans? Is there anything better than that? It's official. Duncan Robinson is no longer a member of the Miami Heat. He has signed a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. In a sign-in trade, he heads to the Pistons, and Miami gets forward Simone Fontecchio in return. Fontecchio has an $8.3 million contract for the season. It isn't expiring. But what this move does is actually put Miami at the maximum 15 roster spots once again. So they are not eligible to sign another player in free agency right now. If they want to make more moves, they will have to do it via trade. They are still connected to a Terry Rozier trade, maybe an Andrew Wiggins deal, but they no longer can take more players back in a deal as well because they're at the max roster spots. Full video coming soon on this move. Make sure you subscribe for more Heat coverage. And that's why we go live, folks. We were so close to signing off, but we didn't, and we made the right call. How about that, man? I would have been actually so pressed if we signed off and then 30 minutes later he gets freaking traded. I would have been heated. I wonder if the Heat can look to flip Fontecchio for another player or like a picks or something like that. But that's the first move of the offseason for Miami. That doesn't mean just re-signing Davion Mitchell. For Simone Fontecchio. I want to make sure I spell this right. God, his name is hard to spell. There it is. Fontecchio. Hashtag shorts. Hashtag NBA. Hashtag Heat. Public. Reddit ride. All right. There it is, folks. It finally happened. Go away. Duncan Robinson, he will be surely missed. He will be surely missed. Sad. I was fine letting him go. But man, it's still bittersweet. I mean, we're talking about the best shooter in Miami history, statistically. We are. I mean, without a doubt. Without a doubt is the best shooter in NBA or in Heat history. Without a question. I'm going to look up some Simone Fontecchio stats here. He's a wing, 6'7", 209, career 36% shooter from 3, 7.6 rebounds. He played 75 games last year for Detroit. He spent 3 years in the NBA, 1.5 in Utah, 1.5 in Detroit. Updated Heat roster. Right now, we are $2.8 million underneath the salary or the tax. We're still $10 million underneath the first apron. So we still have the non-tax mid-level exception to use. We still have every exception we want to use. But we're at a maximum 15 roster spots. So that's the most interesting thing here. If you want to quickly make a read-only, thank you, Duncan Robinson, spam 55, that'd be cool. Can everyone type the 55s in the chat for Duncan? Listen, I've complained about his defense, but there's no doubt about it. He's been with Miami for a while. He's been awesome. And as an undrafted free agent, you could just never have asked for anything more in his career. Shout out to Duncan Robinson. Spam the 55s. This will be the first time since I was in high school that the Heat don't have Duncan Robinson on their team. That feels weird. That feels crazy. First time since high school, man. It's been confirmed, no second-round picks or anything. It is just Simone Fontecchio heading to Miami. Man, hurts. Sad. Definitely sad. Duncan was a legend, dude. Yeah, we'll start with like a L3. Honestly, let's go player L3 of the trade. Let's go thank you 55, social of the trade details, and then we could talk about Fontecchio a little bit. We can talk about it on the back end for sure after I talk about how we have our maximum roster spot. What? Yeah, you can have that if you want. Just says you can do Rolly, Heat have max 15 roster spots. Man, double nickel gone hurts, dude. Double nickel hurts. You know, we're at $43 in super chats. When we cross 55 for Duncan, I'll take a shot. Shot for Duncan when we cross 55 in super chats. We're 12 away. So if we get $12 in super chats, I'm taking a shot to say thank you to Duncan Robinson. Fontecchio heads to Miami. He's a little bit of an older player, even though he's only been in the league for 3 years. He's 29 years of age. He was born in Italy, if you couldn't tell by the name. I wouldn't say the most shocking part of this all, but the fact that Miami is now at the 15 max roster spots, the only way that they're able to make more moves is if they trade players away. But thank you, Duncan, man. Thank you, Duncan. When you're ready, send a message into the production for the highlight cut, and we can get rolling. Now, I want to make this clear, as some people are saying, what the hell is this trade? It's a sign-and trade, guys. So the Heat weren't going to re-sign Duncan regardless. This is more or less just like getting an asset out of Duncan. Would you rather have Duncan leave for nothing or get Simone Fontecchio back? Like, Fontecchio could be an okay player off the bench. My problem is that the Heat have too many of those type of guys where it's like, I want to see Kyle. Like, would I rather have Fontecchio or Kyle Anderson? I'd rather have Fontecchio because he can hit some shots from beyond the arc. Did you put together a script? Sorry. Is it in the main tab? Okay, yeah, that's cool. That works for me. Let's just actually. Oh no, let's get rid of this. Obviously. Let's move the sub to here. Oh, let's move sub to here. And then, what is this one? Oh, is this the Duncan Robinson one? Okay, so then we can get rid of that. And then scratch that. Go here. And now we're ready to roll. I see some of the super chats. Y'all are legends. We'll get to all those super chats here in a second. But we're going to film this video on Duncan Robinson, and then we'll talk more around Miami, what could be next, and recap and rehash some of the best moments Duncan Robinson's had in a Heat uniform. When you are ready, Mr. Dillon, we can get this video started. Get it rolling. All right, when you're ready, let me know. All right, let's do it. It's official. Duncan Robinson, for the first time in what feels like forever, and for the first time since I was in high school, will not be a member of the Miami Heat. It was trending this way. The Detroit Pistons were the most linked team to Duncan in free agency following the Malik Beasley gambling announcement. And it's official. He signs a 3-year, $48 million deal with Detroit to be their shooter off of the bench. Or maybe he starts next to Cade Cunningham. But he gets a deal larger than I expected at $16 million AAV. And he is no longer a member of the Heat. It is a sign and trade. We'll talk about what Miami got in return here in a second. But I want to say thank you to Duncan Robinson. I don't make a lot of these videos often, but Duncan was an awesome player in Miami. And I want to show him some love because he was nothing short of an ultimate professional. He's the most prolific three-point shooter in Miami Heat history. And he might get passed by Tyler Hero, but Duncan was absolutely phenomenal as an undrafted free agent. Had great chemistry with Bam, and he has had so many big moments for the Heat. The number one that comes to mind is his performance on the road in Game 2 of the 2023 NBA Finals, where he willed Miami to a victory in the fourth quarter. Shout out Duncan. Spam your double nickels 55 down in the comments. As I mentioned, Duncan signing a 3-year, $48 million deal, so he gets $16 million per season with Detroit. They had to send out some salary in order to make this work in a sign-and trade, and the only thing Miami is getting in return is a wing, Simone Fontecchio. There is absolutely no draft capital. Would I have liked to get second-round picks out of it? Yes, I would have, but there's not a lot of leverage here for Miami, so they get Fontecchio. They get something in return. This has a lot of different impacts on Miami. We'll see where that ultimately goes with his roster spot and if he can get some PT. He is a player who has averaged 7 points a game in his career. He's 6'7". He was born in Italy. He is a career 36% three-point shooter. He has been in the NBA for 3 years. He spent 1.5 in Utah, 1.5 in Detroit. He played 52 games as a rookie. He played 66 games 2 years ago. And now, this past season, played 75 games. And by the way, I know it was a very small sample size, but in the 16 games he played with Detroit, not this year, but the year prior, he actually averaged 15 points a night and shot 42.6% from three. He can certainly give you some good minutes off of the bench. He's a solid addition. He actually had 30 points against Serbia during the 23 World Cup playing for Italy. So he's certainly a guy that can make some noise. Like, if you're looking at this Heat roster, Fontecchio, I would rather have him get minutes over Kyle Anderson. Both of them are decent wings that can defend, can just be good connecting pieces. I will say he does a lot of the same stuff as Haywood Highsmith, and I'm unsure that that is something that is going to play a lot, which is a little nerve-wracking for me, to be honest, because it's like, does he get PT over Haywood? I'm not so sure he does. Another aspect of Fontecchio is that he is an expiring contract. He has $8.3 million left on his deal, so that will be coming off of the books next season. I don't know if the Heat would extend him. I doubt they would. But the most kind of stunning, I wouldn't say stunning, but the most noteworthy part of this is not getting back Simone Fontecchio. It's actually that this move now puts Miami at the max roster spots. They had 14 roster spots going into free agency after Duncan Robinson exercises ETO. This now puts the Heat at 15. You can have 15 standard contracts on your roster. So if the Heat wanted to make another move, whether it is a signing, whether it is a trade, they cannot add anyone to the roster. If they make a trade, they have to send out more players than they are current or they would be getting back. Or if they want to sign a player, they have to waive someone. Do they waive anyone? I don't know. They are about $6 million until the luxury tax, about $10 million until the first apron, it looks like. Bobby Marks says projected salary $185 million right now. The threshold is $187.8, so you have $2.8 million until the luxury tax. First apron's at $195.9, so you have about $10 million before the first apron, and you have $22 million before the second apron. So that's where it stands financially for Miami. They're still underneath the luxury tax, but I know there's been a lot of rumors around Dame and other free agents. Those can't happen unless the Heat get rid of players on their roster currently. Make sure you are subscribed to the channels because when breaking news happens, we have you covered. We're actually filming this live on our stream as we were waiting for Duncan Robinson news to happen. Subscribe for daily coverage, live shows when big news drops. We are the #1 leader of Heat coverage on YouTube. Join the channel today. It's been a busy day in Miami, to be honest, because you've seen a lot happen around the NBA. We heard that the Duncan Robinson stuff was progressing towards him leaving the Heat. He ultimately does that with Detroit. But there was also just so much other news around the association. In a shocking fashion, Myles Turner signs with the Bucks. And then right after that, the Bucks waived Damian Lillard. And now Dame is a free agent. And we'll spend the rest of this show talking about Dame because the Heat have been the most linked team to Lillard to this point. I mean, Jake Fisher saying that the Heat were absolutely at the top of the Lillard list back 2 years ago before he got dealt. You would have to imagine that Miami is still going to be an option that Dame wants now. I can't imagine there won't be mutual interest there, and that was clearly the spot he wanted to leave Portland for. And I know a lot of people are going to be, I would say, divided on Dame. Will it be someone that Miami wants to go after? We'll see. Do Heat fans even want him? I'm open to it for a lot of different reasons because if you give him a 2-year, 3-year contract that is a relatively good price point for Miami, you can have him rehab this entire year with the Heat. He mentors Kasparas Yakachonis, and then you have a gap year. You create cap space for next season. You get a top 10 draft pick in all likelihood based off the roster you have now. You then have the assets and free agency to build a good roster around Dame, Hero, and Bam as they come back in 2026-27 season. You also have the draft capital to add young talent to your team. There's a lot of benefits to giving Dame a multi-year contract, letting him rehab in Miami, and then return to the court in a Heat uniform the years following. Anthony Chiang of the Miami Herald saying that the Heat are expected to have interest in Damian Lillard, and Lillard continues to have interest in playing in Miami, according to multiple league sources. So it seems more and more likely that there is going to be a conversation to be had between Damian Lillard and Miami in terms of maybe joining up. Didn't happen in 2023. That trade would have added him to the roster alongside Jimmy and Bam. Now he could be added to the roster to rehab and return to join Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. We will see. We will monitor the situation. But that is certainly the #1 storyline around the Miami Heat following the Duncan Robinson sign and trade where the Heat lose Duncan but net Simone Fontecchio. So let me know, before we sign off on today's show, do you want to sign Damian Lillard? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'll be looking. And make sure you're subscribed as well because tomorrow's video we will put out on more rumors following the sign and trade. We'll probably look at Rozier, and we'll probably look at Andrew Wiggins. All right, that will do it for the video. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here. We're still going to stay live. I want to make that clear. We're staying live as long as you guys want to stay live to react to the Dame rumors, the Duncan Robinson move. I see some passes, some signs, some passes. And it looks like it's split 50-50 at this point. I'll be honest. Looks like it's split 50-50. Looks like it's split 50-50. Do I like Fontecchio? I'm fine with him. But my issue is that we're at 15 roster spots. So that's where I'm more or less concerned, man. I'm fine. Yeah, Duncan, or I think Cullen has us covered. I just tweeted this out. I actually like Simone Fontecchio as a player. I just don't love Miami already being at the max 15 roster spots. Need to create some flexibility. Miami simply doesn't have that right now, man. And that stinks. That stinks. All right, a couple super chats came in right before we filmed that, Dylan, if we can get that on screen. We crossed $55 in super chat, so I'm pouring out a shot for Duncan Robinson, man. Duncan was a phenomenal UDFA player. He was a phenomenal Heat player. At this point in Miami Heat history, he is the best shooter that has ever worn a Heat uniform. Based off his longevity, his three-point percentage, and his just straight-up productivity as a three-point marksman, man. Will he get passed by Tyler Hero by the time Hero is done in his career? Probably. But at least as of now, #1 player in Heat history as a three-point shooter. Cheers to Duncan. Appreciate everything he's done for Miami. Go kill it in Detroit, man. Go kill it. Go be a difference maker for them. Go kill it. Go kill it. Pigeon Base says, F yeah, we will miss Duncan, but man, I will no longer need to hate on that Italian anymore. Pigeon Base, you ain't wrong, brother. Simone Fontecchio torched Miami this year. Like, hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to find something. Stats versus Heat. Simone Fontecchio has played against the Miami Heat 9 times in his career. In those 9 games, he is averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field and 39% from 3. I'm happy that I no longer have to face him randomly, dude. Fontecchio is a random Heat killer. And you want to make it even crazier? Hold on. Yeah, man. Those were crazy. I mean, he really did in the first 5 games against Miami. The first 5 games he had against the Heat in 2 in 2023, 3 in 2024, 23 points, 12 points, 22 points, 24 points, 13 points. Yeah, but Fontecchio no longer Heat killer. Flavio with a 5. Best regards, 55. Clap it up for Duncan, man. Gonna miss him. But I wasn't gonna pay him $16 million per season over 3 years, that's for sure. And he's got such a good three-point stroke. He's got great chemistry with Bam, but he's so bad defensively that the Miami Heat just shouldn't be paying that type of player that much money where they're at in their roster construction. So, we'll see. I mean, it's not a trade, it's a sign and trade. So, I mean, I don't care. Like, that's why people that are so like aggressive in terms of how they feel about this trade. Would you rather let him walk for nothing or get something in return? That's how I look at it. Like, what do I care? It's an expiring contract in Fontecchio. Like, it's not going to hinder us in the future. Exactly. So I don't care. What is the plan? Yeah, I said I could do it. If I don't have to do anything related to other than film it, sure. I mean, I'll have to get other things covered for me if I'm doing live. I can't do a live and a morning VOD. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yep. Thanks. Um. All right. So just some behind the scenes stuff there. Appreciate the $5 super chat, Flavio. James Batista with a 20. This one put us over the $55 limit for my guy to take a shot. Thank you, 55. Good trade. He maxes playing with us here, but he won't be that good elsewhere. It's all good. We'll be fine. I do actually think there's a world where he's not better in Detroit than here. Duncan Robinson is really successful because we ran a lot of dribble handoffs for Duncan. Adebayo set excellent screens for Duncan. I don't know if he will get as many open looks in Detroit. Like, Cade Cunningham will create for him, but Duncan was like a focal point of our offense at some points where he was just like, we were running the offense through him and letting him play make. We'll no longer see that anymore. So someone else is going to have to take that role. And take that role. But Batista, thank you for the 20. You're a legend, man. Appreciate you coming and supporting. That's another shot. Cross 55 and $20 is a shot. Joy Hickman, we own Miami. The Pistons haven't won anything in a very long time. Thanks for being a subscriber, though. Thanks for being a subscriber, though. All right. Did we have another super chat? I think we did, no? Yeah, we got one from Jay. And Pigeon Base again. We got a couple more super chats. Oh. Tough to see Duncan go, man. Tough to see him go. I'll read the super chat in a second, just tweeting out that video. And then we'll read this super chat. You're just joining us. Simone Fontecchio to the Heat. Duncan Robinson, 3-year, $48 million deal to the Pistons. Thank you, Duncan Robinson. $10 super chat from Pigeon Base. We need a person to orchestrate players to come here. Pat can't, with all due respect. Move or waive, I don't know, Rozier, Burks. Burks is a free agent. If we gap year, we need to attract. Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, like the only thing going for us the rest of the offseason at this point, and it can change. It can change. But the only thing we got going for us right now is trading Terry Rozier or Andrew Wiggins. That's it. That's it. If the Heat don't trade those two, then they're not going to add anyone else to the roster. So we have to see Wiggins or whatever his name, Wiggins or Rozier, I couldn't think of his name for a second. Wiggins or Rozier get traded, and then we could look to see what happens after that. But if we don't trade Wiggins or Rozier, the Heat can't make a move unless they waive someone, which I doubt they do. So, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. I would have liked just to get second-round picks back instead of a player, but Fontecchio's he's fine. He's not a bad player. He's better than Kyle Anderson, in my opinion. Rather have him than Kyle Anderson. Rather than Kevin Love. Rather than Terry Rozier. So, I mean, Fontecchio's better than Kashad Johnson. Heat, by the way, created a $6.9 million trade exception during this deal. They are $5.5 million below the luxury tax. So that's the actual number, apparently. $5 million. They can use the non-tax mid-level. $11 million before the first apron. They're hard capped at the second apron. But there was never an intention for Miami to go to the second apron, so not worried there. Yeah. Malik Beasley's getting sued. That's hilarious. Shout out Duncan, man. Legendary Heat career. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the Pistons fan, man. I don't care what Pistons fans have to say about the Heat, and I don't. He's spamming in the chat, doing whatever he wants to do. Let him have his fun. If this is how he enjoys his time, go ahead. But he's certainly not going to affect my day or mood. Jay with a 5. We took a chance on Victor when he was hurt. Oh, you're talking about Oladipo. Dame is a better player, low risk with possibility of high rewards. We need to make room on the roster. Yeah, Jay, I am very much in on giving Dame a multi-year deal for a cheap contract. Let him rehab in Miami and then come back and hopefully perform really well for the Heat. But we don't have a roster spot. So the only way the Heat get a roster spot is if they trade players away and get more players or trade out more players than they get back. But, I don't know who's doing that. What are they doing? Who are they trading multiple players to get one player for? That's my thing. Because not many players are just going to be able to just, you trade multiple people for one. Maybe if you did, a sign-and trade for Kuminga, you trade 2 players in that deal. But, I don't know. Who you trading 2 for 1 for, right? The only team that has cap space to absorb people is the Nets, and I don't think they have any interest in Terry Rozier. And we'd have to attach picks to that, and I don't really want to do that. Jay with another 5. Why are we holding on for Drew? He's a waste spot, too. He's always hurt. He and Caleb need to go. I will miss Duncan. I wish him the best. I will miss Duncan as well. I hope him the best. Now, I do want to clarify something with Drew Smith. Drew Smith is actually not on the Heat roster right now. So, Jay, Drew is not on the roster. Drew Smith has a 2-way offer, 2-way contract on the table, but he has yet to accept. He is a restricted free agent. So if Drew Smith joins the team again, it would be on a 2-way, but not on a standard deal. The Heat only have one 2-way contract right now. That's Vlad Golden, the UDFA center from Michigan. But I do think Kevin Love needs to go. There's just no reason to keep him on this roster if we're going to be honest. There just isn't. There just isn't. Ugh. I would look in to see if you could trade Kyle Anderson. Is there a team that would be interested in Kyle Anderson? I don't know. Maybe. You can try. We just have too many wings. Wiggins, Jovic, Anderson, Highsmith, Hawkes, now Fontecchio. You can't play all of them. Hell, you could barely just play 3 of them. That's 6 players. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough to see how the rest of this offseason unfolds. Man, oh man. What's next? What's next? What's next? I don't know. I don't know what's next, man. Ideally a Rozier trade, but what does that look like? And does it create a roster spot? Probably not. I'm reading up, seeing if there's anything new around Miami after the deal. Um, wow. That Duncan Robinson contract is very fascinating. I'm reading up on the Duncan contract. Year 1 is fully guaranteed. Year 2 is partially guaranteed. Non-guaranteed in year 3. So yes, it's 3 for 48, but there's a chance where if it goes really poorly that he could be cut in year 2. Now I doubt it does, and he could be cut in year 3 too. So not that big of a contract actually in hindsight. Not that big. Like I said, man, I'm fine with Simone Fontecchio coming back. I think he's a fine player. I just don't love being at the max contract or the max contract on the roster. Don't love that. Man. All right, 440 people still in the building. If you want to super chat, we'll stay live here. Almost live for 3 hours. Miami ain't going to make another move in the next 30 minutes, that's for sure. So we'll probably sign off unless super chats come in to create keep conversation going. So if you want to get your thoughts on screen or ask a question, super chat to do so. If not, put on a shot clock. You want to do like 2 minutes? Shot clock. 2 minutes. No super chats come in. We'll probably sign off. We're $12 away from $100 in super chats. Get the triple digits would be nice. Be cool. Yeah, let's go 2 minutes. I've been live for 2 hours and 55 minutes talking about rumors. Duncan Robinson deal. Looks like I need some coffee. I actually don't feel that tired. Once the shot clock goes up, and there it is. Listen, like, Fontecchio's a fine player. Nothing crazy. Not going to act like he's going to be a crazy difference maker. He can play, though. Like, I want that clear. He gonna play. He can play, man. But I just don't like the just don't like the fact that the Heat are at the max roster spot. Don't love it. $2 super chat will reset the shot clock. Every super chat that comes in resets the shot clock. So that will get reset here in a second. Flavio says prices for Love to get out. He's got a guaranteed $4 million contract. So if you wanted to buy him out, it would probably cost you the full $4 million, which means you would have an open roster spot, but you don't create any cap space from that. You only have about Still $5.5 million until the luxury tax. You would still have the mid-level exception at your use at 14 mil, but you can buy him out for a roster spot at 4 mil. You don't get any cap space, but it would create a roster spot. New shot clock up. Any super chats resets it to the 2 minutes. Oh, looks like Dylan gave you an extra 2 minutes. Look at the guy Dylan is. What a nice guy. It's crazy, man. There's only 2 players left from the bubble team in 2019-2020. Hero and Bam. That's it. Everyone else gone. Solomon Hill, Dragic, Haslam, Myers Leonard, Derek Jones Jr., Jimmy, Kendrick Nunn, Vincent, Olynyk, Crowder, Iguodala, Duncan, Akpala. Only 2. Oh, a couple trades or a couple super chats to get us back to the 2-minute timer. And that puts us above $100 in super chats. Let's go. Give me 1 second, folks. Baller Central, the 5. I don't think they're done. Is this dude athletic at all? Yeah, he's semi-athletic. I'm not going to act like he's an unbelievable athlete, but he's no scrub. Like, I want that clear. Like, he's not a scrub. Like, he's not. So, will he play a lot? I don't know. But he ain't a scrub. Appreciate the $5 Central. Stickman Sam, $10 satchel. You like the trade? I want to make this clear. It's not a trade. It's a sign-and trade. It's 2 different mechanisms. And all it does is help Miami. Here's the truth. The Heat were never keeping Duncan Robinson. If Duncan opted into the $9.9 million, the Heat would have waived him. And then he could have signed in free agency with whatever team he wanted to. But by opting out and using his ETO, and then the sign-in trade happens, the Heat save, yes, they keep a 15th roster spot, but they save $1.6 million. Because it would have been $9.9 million to Miami if Duncan opted in and then waived. Instead, it's $8.3 with Fontecchio. So the Heat save $1.6 million by Duncan opting out and then doing a sign-in trade in comparison to him opting in and the Heat waiving. So you save $1.6 million. Under a minute to go on the shot clock. Just crossed 3 hours live streaming. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Super chat resets the clock to 2 minutes. And there it is. Reset to 2 minutes. Jay Townsend comes in. Townsend with a 5. Let's see what Townsend had to say. Can we give the Warriors a couple players for Dominga? I think you meant Dominga. Rozier, Kyle, and Jaime. We need to improve the roster. Duncan was more valuable than them. If the Heat did a sign and trade with the Warriors for Kuminga, because Jonathan Kuminga is a restricted free agent, they are only allowed to take back 50% of the first year Kuminga signs for. So the Heat could sign Kuminga to a multi-year contract. Let's just say it's a first year is worth $26 million. The Warriors at most could take back 13 mil, excuse me. Kyle Anderson and Jaime Jaquez Jr. make 13 mil combined. So what you could do is do a sign and trade with the Warriors for Kuminga. You sign to that deal. You send out Jaquez and Anderson to get Kuminga to Miami. You free up a roster spot. Now, I don't know what the financial implications of that deal would be to who you could sign after that, but you would have an open roster spot if you did that sign and trade, and maybe that's something Miami could explore. Maybe now that they've kind of handicapped themselves at 15 roster spots, maybe they're more intrigued with that. I don't know. We'll see. 40 seconds until stream is over. Super Chat resets it to 22 minutes, excuse me. I mean, the Heat made a move, though. They're finally off the list of teams that haven't done a thing. Now it's only 3 teams. Timberwolves, Warriors, Pacers. Shout out Duncan, man. Heat legend. As the shot clock expires, that's going to do it for our live show today. We were live for 3+ hours, breaking down the latest in the NBA, the Miami Heat, reacting to the trade that sent Duncan Robinson, the sign-and trade to Detroit, Simone Fontecchio to Miami. We are going to be here again tomorrow with more content around the Heat. It'll be fun to see what happens tomorrow. But as I mentioned, if the Heat make any more moves, they're going to have to either waive a player, buy out a player, or trade a player away and take less players in return if they want to do anything the rest of the offseason, because they have currently the max 15 players on their roster. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have a video out tomorrow morning, likely talking about the latest around a potential Rozier or Andrew Wiggins trade. We'll see you then. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Peace out and go Heat.